Which I think that the weird part for me is that Crack the Sky was all based around a concept.
Yeah.
And even all of the other ones, Leviathan, Remission,
well.
they were all a concept. And this one is, and I think I told you this the day we first listened to the album, you would ask me what I thought, and I said that the album's kind of all over the place. There's no clear progression, there's no storyline, it's just kind of...
It just jumps from track to track, and it's a completely new sound in each...
Yeah. And we Crack the Sky, I felt like if you listened to Oblivion, you had to listen to Divinations, and they kind of all flowed together in one cohesive unit. Whereas with this, you could put on Stargasm,
you could
skip back to Black Tongue, it doesn't really matter.
It's a little bit more of like a party album, compared to their Crack the Sky, their more serious album.
Yeah, it's Crack the Sky, and this is, drink the keg. But, all in all, obviously, they're going to have another hit with this one.
Yeah.
And I think that, as you mentioned, if you're not a fan of Mastodon, like you weren't a fan of their previous work, I think this album might be a good spot to get in, only because, again, none of the songs are interconnected, so you can just pick one song, and you can enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
And for instance, I know you are particularly fond of Stargasm.
Yeah.
You could probably play that for anybody you know.
Yeah.
And I think the majority of people would probably like it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that says a lot about where they went, what their choice was in recording this album.
And I felt like Stargasm just kind of leaned a little bit more closer to some of their older stuff, more than anything else on the album. And there was a lot more progression in that, a lot more repetitive riffs and so on and so forth. Now, the one thing I want to talk about that I was very impressed with was the drumming on the album, which of course, Brandaler on every album that he drums for is completely insane, and this album it just blew me away. Octopus Has No Friends, that song. When it first started, I was a little iffy about it because of the music, but then once the drums took over, I feel like that was for Brand right there. I felt like that song was for him, like that, and he just took over that song completely. And I was, like I said, I was blown away. I really enjoyed it.
I think that was actually one of the first things about the album that you had said to me.
Yeah,
was check out the drumming on Octopus Has No Friends.
Yeah, the fills are just insane, man. They really are.
I think that you're absolutely right. He stole the show on that one, but throughout the course of the album, even, I think his fills and his roles kind of make the album good. Yeah. In some songs where I kind of wasn't into it, he hits a good fill, and I feel like it just kind of reignites.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of kept their definition of Mastodon. It kept them. You could tell this was Mastodon, regardless of the vocals or regardless of the music. It's the drums really kept it that Mastodon style that they always had. So that was a huge aspect of the album that I really enjoyed.
Now, there are 2 bonus tracks. Mm-hmm. One is called The Ruiner.
Right.
What was the other one?
Deathbound.
Oh, that's right. Which was available on the Adult Swim compilation thing.
Right.
Those, come with the special edition of the album. I believe is a free download of some sort. Mm-hmm. One thing I have to mention is that I ended up getting the special version from their website, which... I wasn't sure if I really, really wanted it, but I was like, I better get it while there's a chance. And it comes with this great poster. It's a lenticular poster. It's almost 2 feet by 3 feet of the album cover, the red, but it's completely in 3D. It's like this 3D hologram, and I have to say it is one of the coolest posters I think I've ever had.
See, I'm gonna have to get it. I didn't even order it. You would think I'd order it.
Yeah, out of the 2 of us, you would be the one that would jump on it.
Yeah, I need to. I'm gonna get that.
And they do still have it available, $49.99 for those of you out there.
They do have. They just announced that they're gonna be releasing the vinyl version of the album in November, I think.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that as well, and I own the rest of their albums on vinyl, so I'm just gonna add that one to the collection.
And now, that's actually a good coincidence for us that it comes out in November, because on November 19th, we will be watching Dillinger Escape Plan and Red Fang, right?
No. We're going to show up later and miss those bands.
Oh.
And then see Mastodon live.
Oh, Mastodon's headline?
Yeah,
I
they're
totally
headlining.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think you guys might have just heard Christine laugh in the background. I'm hoping. 'Cause, that way we have it on tape and then we can prove she was here.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the lineup.
No, me neither.
But Mastodon is headlining, and we'll be seeing them, like you said, November 19th at Terminal 5, right? So for those of you who were not aware, make sure you get your tickets now. If a place sells out, that's definitely a venue that's sold out before to bands like Within Temptation when we saw them.
Yeah,
that was
Within
sold
Temptation,
out
Opeth on the 20th anniversary tour.
It's
a decent sized venue.
Yeah, it's still sold out though.
But yeah, and I'm gonna say that they oversell it because there's kind of an offshoot. There's like the main straight floor, but there's an offshoot over towards the bar, and that's always full too.
Yeah.
So they probably oversell it by 100 or 200 tickets sometimes, which gets to be a pain in the ass. But there are some balcony areas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, get some tickets, go see that. You never know, you'll see us there. And I've said this before, but you don't know what the hell we look like. But, maybe you'll just pick us out of a crowd. Maybe you'll hear us talking about, maybe you'll hear us yell, "Oh, Eternal!" I think we've done that before. We might also have a buddy with us, Duct Tape, from previous podcasts.
That's right.
He went and saw the Opeth show with us. And, he is interested in coming to see Mastodon as well. So you might see us with Duct Tape. So yeah, I think the consensus, at least here at the Sorrow Eternal headquarters, from everyone around is, you got to get this album. Definitely check it out. Check out the tour. Watch all the videos on their YouTube channel. I think that's really cool. I guess they have a new video coming out.
Oh yeah.
So definitely check that out. And I think after the wait from Crack the Sky, we were really worried about where they were going to go, and we said the same thing about Opeth. We didn't know what they were going to do after Watershed, and I think in this case we are pretty stoked with how it turned out.
Yeah, I think things turned out well.
But now the speculation can officially begin. Where do they go from here?
Yeah, I feel like this was more or less, clearly just a fun album that they were trying to do, and maybe in their next album that they'll, crack down and get serious again with
like a really heavy album
with some new stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every band has that one album, where they kind of loosen up a little,
Sure.
or they go in a different direction.
Or they just kind of do what they want to do rather than what the pressure is to do.
Right.
I think this might be the year of that when you think about it, because the Dream Theater album that they had all said, with Portnoy gone, this is what they really wanted to do. Opeth, same thing. Like, they didn't want to make another record like, Ghost Reveries or Watershed. This is what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the same with Mastodon. Maybe they decided it was time they had a little fun.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Especially with the touring cycle with Crack the Sky, it's got to be tough. But, so yeah, Mastodon is A-okay.
Yep. Yeah, so get the album. Definitely give it a shot, if you don't own the album already.
You can also get it from our store, which is attached to the Amazon store. I want to say it's either $8.99 or $9.99. So you can just click on the link there and get that.
Yep.
They are our band of the month for September.
Yep. And we will be having a band of the month from now on, right?
Yep.
Every month.
Every month we're going to pick one.
We're going to dedicate a podcast once a month to that band, whichever one that is, in the middle of the month sometime.
We're starting to go through some of our options for October.
Yep.
It could be a new band, it could be an old band, it could be a band with an album out, it could be, just a band that we can't stop listening to.
And hey, if you guys have any suggestions, or again, if there's any bands that you'd like us to review or anything like that, make sure you guys feel free to comment us or email us directly. You could talk to Christine, and she'll hook it up. And we'd love to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah. So, keep checking out our YouTube channel and the site and everything for all our new shit.
Yep.
And one of the bands that I have to say is probably a front runner for one of our band of the month segments would have to be the band we went and saw last week. While you guys were home listening to the podcast, we went and saw Alcest open for Enslaved.
We, me, you, and Duct Tape.
Yep, Duct Tape came as well. He's a big fan of Alcest now.
Yep, and I have to say they were fucking amazing live.
Yeah, it was an interesting show. The band that opened, I still don't know the name of the band because they only said it once, and the guy kind of mumbled it passing away.
Yeah,
but they weren't anything to write home about. And then Junius was pretty good. Definitely impressed by their performance, but Alcest was the reason we were there.
Right.
So They definitely an interesting group of guys. They are they have that very emo kind of look to them. The stage was just kind of lit blue.
Oh yeah, it was like kind of quiet the whole time, but
all he said was like thanks at the end of every song. And he didn't really introduce all the songs. The one in particular that sticks out is when he came to the front, like, this next song is Ikai de Lune, which prompted quite the conversation on the ride home, but that's another story. But they were fantastic. They played 3 songs from the new album, 2 songs from Souvenirs de Autre Monde, and 1 song. They played the title track off of Les Secrets, which is 15 minutes long. So, but they were fantastic.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool to get to see them play those songs, and you know, I've been listening to it for a long time. I know you've been constantly playing it in your car, right?
Nonstop.
And even Duct Tape, you know, he's quickly become a really big fan of them, and it was really cool. And also, I did get to meet them after the show.
Yep.
Right before Enslaved went on, which, by the way, the headlining band was Enslaved. We didn't really get to see the entire act, but we've seen them before.
Yep.
When they toured with Opeth, right?
Yeah, and I mean, we saw a couple songs right at the beginning, but you know, the scheduling was kind of tough for us, so we had to hightail it out. But yes, Murmaider did meet Neige from Alceste. It was an interesting thing because we've met plenty of bands over the course of going to these shows and doing the site and everything.
Especially that theater is
that venue, the Gramercy Theater.
To meet people.
But for whatever reason, this one, Murmaider, he had his legs crossed like a little kid who was doing the pee-pee dance. He just couldn't hold it. And they were talking in the corner, like, we don't want to be dicks. We don't want to be those guys who walk up like, oh my god, you, and like start like humping them or something. Yeah. They were trying to be cool about it. And then they walked past, and Murmaider, the look on his face was priceless. So we went back up to watch Enslaved, and they were standing there. So, not to mention he's like a foot taller than you. They're all, the Neige and the other guitar player. The other guitar player might have been like 6'9".
Yeah, he was huge.
He was big.
Yep.
He was big.
And they were walking around with, you know, a can of beer. I didn't want to disturb them, you know. I thought they were just trying to relax after the show and just trying to have a beer, you know. And then there was that one really hot chick that walked up to them, and I didn't want to, you know,
you can't
cock
compete
block
with that.
them, you know.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that. No, you can't. You couldn't compete. Sorry, she had on like a really short skirt and stockings and everything, and Murmaider was certainly not going to be able to steal their attention at that point.
But it was cool to kind of, you know, just fit in hey, you guys are great, and you know, nice to meet you, and they seem nice, you know, like nice people.
We really got to get something set up to do an interview with them or something, because that would be. That'd be a good one. So we're gonna look over at Christine and just make sure that, you know, she's working hard on getting an interview with them on that. So anyway, thanks for listening to our ramblings about Mastodon. Murmaider might have just pooped a little bit.
And this won't be the last time we talk about Mastodon. Just want to let you all know that you know, the band of the month can happen at least.
We could have Mastodon as the band of the month for a year.
Twice a year, right? There's a rule, right?
Yes, they'll be the band of the month for the first 13 months or something, and then suddenly we'll change. Then their new album will come out, it'll come back. But make sure you're checking us out on Light and Darkness Radio. Yep. Make sure you're listening to his station all the time. It's great stuff, and you know, we never get tired of hearing what he has to say on there. And you know, check the site nightly, 8 p.m. Check out our Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, Tumblr, all the other shit that we got going.
Yep.
And about this time next week, we'll be coming at you possibly with a special guest. Which actually reminds me, one last thing before we go. The Scenario is not a happy camper. He's got a little beef with Chester now, because Chester insulted his suntan lotion, body spray, or whatever the fuck it was.
His hair gel, yeah.
Yep, and he was not happy that Duct Tape stole some of his thunder.
Yep.
So the next time he's here, he's got a message for both of those guys. And we're looking forward to the battle of the Sorrow Eternal guests.
So we basically have Chester the rapper.
Yep.
The Scenario, which is our Guido.
Yep, he's our resident Guido.
And Duct Tape, who is obviously Duct Tape.
Yep, he's obviously Duct Tape, who listens to generic alternative rock. So
Coheed, woo!
Yeah, Coheed and Cambria. So next time we'll reignite the feud, and we'll see where it goes from there. Until then...
Stop Scoopy's me!